Hey y'all, welcome to this week's show. We're getting into a couple of really interesting medicinal plants this week. But first of all, I'm going to tell you about a couple of things. Obviously, it is blazing hot. I mean, it was 101 yesterday, probably going to be about the same through Thursday. I mean, it's just crazy hot. And one good thing, though, about this weather is it's perfect for sweet corn. And y'all know I love sweet corn. I've done a whole show about how to cook sweet corn. I mean, people get it wrong, you know. Um, I started the new series of Herbal Medicine 101 on YouTube. These are short videos where I tell you about the basic medicinal use and sometimes culinary use of an herb. And the herb this week happen to be corn silk, sweet corn. Not just the silks, but actually the shucks, the leaves, the root. Corn is actually powerfully medicinal. It's one of the very best plants for bladder infections, cystitis, kidney stones, urinary gravel. It lowers blood sugar and blood pressure. Check that out. Go to my YouTube channel and subscribe if you haven't. You know, I need to get some more subscribers. I need to get some more views so maybe I can actually make a few bucks off of it one day. So check that out. The other thing is when it's hot, I crave spicy food like even more than I do when it's cold. You know how much I love spicy food when it's cold. And one of the things I always crave most, especially in hot weather, to me this is a real hot weather dish, is a coconut milk based curry. I love curries. I love Indian curry. I love Thai curry. I love Chinese curry. I love Japanese curry. Turns out I really, really love Filipino curry. Uh, you know, in my Catholic writing, I work with a group called Missio Dei, that means Mission of God, and that's Latin, of course. One of my fellow writers is not a fellow at all. She's a she, and she's Filipino. Her name is Jocelyn Soriano. If you want to read some really good Catholic writing, be sure to look her up on Facebook. I mean, not, well, I guess she's on Facebook. I'm actually meant to say Substack, though. She's also on Twitter. I'm sure she's all over the place, but her work on Substack is really good. She writes under the title The Single Catholic. And as I said, turns out I really love Filipino food. Her mother has a blog, and I want to give you this blog because it's got some great recipes. Today, I made her mother's shrimp curry recipe. I altered it a little to my taste um, because I had to pull out some corn silks from that ear of corn to do my YouTube video. I cut some corn off the cob and put it in there. It worked perfectly with the coconut milk. Her recipe does not call for corn at all. It's basically just shrimp and bell peppers and onions and garlic, coconut milk, curry powder, ginger, salt and pepper. I don't think I'm leaving anything out. I may be. So I altered her recipe a little bit. I had some fresh mint I put in there. I think mint always goes really well with curry. And instead of doing bell pepper, I did jalapenos. So I made it like hot for my taste, you know. But she has some great recipes, and it's a great site. It's called Cora's Home Recipes. It's Cora's so Cora's, Home, home, Recipes, recipes.blogspot.com. Be sure to check out Cora's Home Recipes.blogspot.com. She has main dishes, she has desserts, she has snacks, pastas, drinks. Uh, Filipino food is really good. It's not as common as a lot of other Asian cuisines in the United States. I dated a Filipino girl when I was right out of high school, and I really fell in love with the food. And it turns out it's fairly easy to cook. The ingredients are fairly straightforward. The techniques are straightforward. It's not as complex as Thai or like Hunan Chinese food or Vietnamese. It's really just good home cooking that has all those flavors you're looking for. And I mean, hot shrimp curry with a cold beer hit the spot today. Absolutely hit the spot. But yeah, I mean, there's so many great recipes in there. Of course, you got your adobos and a lot of good seafood dishes, and you got your Chinese influenced dishes like chop suey. Great recipe for chop suey, by the way. I can't wait to try that. And it's one thing I never find in a Chinese restaurant in North Carolina is chop suey. It's actually really good. But anyway, great recipes. Check out Jocelyn's writing. Check out her mother's blog. I mean, this stuff is good. I mean, it's really good. And the ingredients are not like crazy exotic. It's stuff you can buy at your local grocery store. And, like I said, I love Thai curry with the coconut milk, but it is too sweet for my taste. In Thai food, they always add palm sugar. It just makes everything too sweet. The Filipino version of this curry does not have sugar. It really works for my taste. And when I think about it, the local Thai restaurant, well, first of all, it's like 15 miles away, and it's really hot, and I don't want to drive anywhere in this heat. But then even for lunch, curry shrimp, good $20, $25. I mean, it's not a cheap restaurant. I mean, with inflation, I know the price of everything's gone up. I haven't eaten there in probably 10 years, so it's probably more like $30 now. I mean, Thai food can be pretty expensive. Filipino food, just as good, actually better in this case because, like I said, I'm not big on the sugar in Thai curry. The Filipino curry is so straightforward and so satisfying. And I think I made like 4 servings for maybe $6. Seriously, I had some leftover shrimp that I hadn't cooked, so it was still, raw in the fridge. If I added in the shrimp, yeah, I mean, I could cook a meal for, let's just say a pound of raw shrimp with the ingredients. The ingredients would still be around $6. I mean, the coconut milk, the curry powder, the peppers, onion, just basic stuff. Garlic goes in there, ginger, $5, $6 tops, right? And then the price of the shrimp. So, and I could have used chicken. The chicken curry is made the same way. Beef would have been fine. Pork, anything you want to put in there. Fish curries are wonderful. It's one of the best ways to use catfish. So I could feed a family of 4 or 5 or 6. Let's say I spent $10 on the shrimp. That's probably an average price, $10, $11 at the grocery store for a pound of frozen shrimp. So for $15, I could feed a family of 5 minimum, and everybody gets seconds and leftovers. And that's half of what I'd pay for just a lunchtime serving at the Thai restaurant down in Moore County. My favorite Thai restaurant, actually. It's called Thai Orchid. If you're ever in town and you don't mind spending a few bucks. The last time I was there, and it's probably been 10 years ago, it's over in Southern Pines. Well, actually, probably Aberdeen. It's over in Aberdeen. The two towns kind of run together, especially these days. The folks in front of me in line were the recently retired ambassador to Thailand and his family. I mean, this is literally the best Thai restaurant in North Carolina, and it's actually worth what you pay because it's like super high quality, very, very good. Now, if you're in Tennessee, there is the best Thai restaurant. It is between Elizabethton and Johnson City. It's literally the people's house. They serve you in their house. I cannot remember the name of it. They only seat like, I think it's 5 tables, if even that. I hope it's still open. I haven't been over that way in a couple of years. But best, it's actually considered among like food insiders to be one of the best Thai restaurants in the entire United States. I don't, I, it's literally their home. You walk in and you eat with the family, and it's so good. I mean, it is like mind-blowingly good, and it's not crazy expensive. And I mean, you will not find better Thai food in the biggest, most cosmopolitan city in North America. And it's just like between Elizabethton and Johnson City. You don't even know it's there if you don't know it's there. It's literally a family home. Amazing. But now that I've discovered these Filipino recipes, man, I mean, I can actually I can suit it more to my taste because it's not as sweet. And I've always altered when I cook Thai food. I always altered the sugar content, made it hotter, added lime or lemon to balance that sweetness. But I did not. The Filipino dishes are so nicely balanced. I still alter them to my taste. I make them hotter than they call for, but I really like Filipino food. I had forgotten just how much I like Filipino food. My ex-girlfriend Susie would be cross at me. My word, she was a beauty. Oh my gosh, was she a beauty? Um, I mean, like you think about those little like Kewpie dolls. When you think of like that perfect little Asian figure and black hair and bright red lips and everything, except she was tall. Um, she was I'm 6'4". Susie was probably 6 feet tall, and yeah, she was. We ended up just being like really close friends. We dated for a while. We had a good time, and we ended up just being very very close friends in the end. But I haven't seen her now in 30 years. But boy, did that bring back memories. The very minute I bit into that dish today, it was like, oh wow, I forgot how much I loved Filipino food. I mean, some adobo. I mean, it's great. I mean, you think about. I mean, we got a Chinese restaurant on every corner in America, right? Every now and then you might find a Japanese restaurant, but the smaller cultures are too often overlooked. I mean, we got this big Hmong population in North Carolina. It's an ethnic group from Vietnam, so we got some phenomenal Vietnamese food. And that's like Chinese food mixed with French food because it's a French colony for so many centuries. Um, Filipino food is like Chinese food mixed with Spanish food because it was a Spanish colony. And man, it's good stuff. I am telling you. Do definitely check out Jocelyn's mother's blog. You're gonna love it. And tell them I sent you. Uh, yeah, on a hot day like this, yeah, man, that's good. If you like Hawaiian food, I think Filipino is a little similar to Hawaiian. It's just really um, good home cooking, and it's never been a wealthy country. Well, except for the Marcos, right? Imelda Marcos and all that. Um, Ferdinand Marcos, they made a lot of money off of the Philippines, but so it's home cooking. It's like basic ingredients. You're not going to spend a fortune on it, and yeah, that's really Korean food is phenomenal. By the way, if you haven't tried Korean food, um, totally different than Filipino. Korean is like punch you in the face flavor. It's really good if you like that kind of stuff. Anyway, let's get on to our medicinal herbs, and this one might surprise you. This is privet, lingustrum, the weedy bush that used to be used to hide outhouses. That's why it's called privet. Privet was grown around the privy. It's all over the place, and birds spread the berries, and it can be it's considered an invasive weed in America, but it's got its use. It's certainly fast growing and it's dense. I don't mind it really, as long as it doesn't take over. But there's a European privet, and then we have Asian privets, and probably a few others. I don't know, but here in America, the one that's really considered weedy is the um, I think it's the Asian version. Let me think. Definitely naturalized. There are actually 7 versions of privet that grow in the United States, naturalized plants. The 3 that grow in my area are armor privet, that's Lingustrum amurensis, that's Amur privet, I should have said, not armor, but Amur, Amur. Lingustrum obtusifolium, this border privet, that's what I see mostly. And then there's the Ligustrum vulgare, that's European privet. That's the one that has the most documented use in herbal medicine. Some of the others have documented use in Chinese medicine. Gerard wrote in the 1500s, the leaves of privet do cure the swellings, aposthumations, and ulcers of the mouth or throat, being gargarized. He didn't say gargled. This is Elizabethan English. He said gargarized. Gargarised. I like that. Gargarized. I'm going to gargle, and with what I have gargled with, that would be gargarized. Cool word, actually. With the juice and decoction thereof, and therefore they be excellent good to be put into lotions to wash the secret parts, that's the genitals, and the scaldings with women. I do not know what the scaldings with women mean. If a woman scalds me, she's not going to be around me very long. I'm getting the hell out of there. But the scaldings with women. Cankers and sores in children's mouths as well. So, good. Brother Aloysius wrote of privet. This is again Ligustrum vulgare, the European. Leaves and flowers are used medicinally, but only externally for inflammation and as a gargle for an ulcerated throat and mouth, ulcerations of the gums, and for scurvy. Now, Ligustrum lucidum is Chinese privet, not to be confused with Ligustrum sinensis, which is Japanese privet. And it's a member of the olive family and widely used in Asian herbal medicine. But returning to the European, Culpeper said, privet is a bush or shrub that grows not to any great bigness, having many smooth, tough plant branches, clothed with small oblong leaves, broadest in the middle. You can look it up. You know what it is. But he says, the moon is the lady of this plant. How interesting a statement. I don't know what that means. It is little used in physics with us in these times, more than in lotions, to wash sores and sore mouths, to cool inflammations and dry up the fluxes. Fluxes are bleeding or diarrhea. Yet, Matthiolus say, it stirs for the uses for which Cyprus or the East privet is appointed by Dioscorides and Galen. Further, he saith that the oil is made of the flowers of privet infused therein and set in the sun, and is singularly good for the inflammations of wounds and headaches coming from a hot cause. There is a sweet water also distilled from the flowers that is good for all the diseases that need cooling and drying, and therefore helps all fluxes of the belly and stomach, bloody fluxes and women's courses, being either drank or applied, as all that void at the mouth or any other place, and for distillations of the rheum in the eyes, especially if it be used with the tuchia. Rheum in the eyes is just mucus in the eyes. I don't know what a tuchia is, but Tutia. Hey, maybe you can look that one up. Well, let's get away. Let's get some more more modern. As in 1800s, the Irish herbal states, it has a binding and cooling nature, good for ulcers and inflammations of the mouth and throat. As always, John Kehoe is the least verbose Irishman ever lived. One sentence. In modern use, Plants for a Future says, the leaves are astringent, bitter, and detergent, vulnerary, that means wound healing. Internal use of this plant should be avoided since it can produce allergic symptoms. Externally, it is safe and effective treatment. The bark has been used as a stomatic, though this is not really recommended. All right, now let's move on to another plant. You thought privet was a little surprising. Let me tell you about honeysuckle. And you may remember that recently someone just flipped out that I actually did an herbal video on the use of Japanese honeysuckle and other honeysuckles. They're all toxic. They'll kill you. No, they won't. No. There is one member of the honeysuckle family that has poisonous berries. There's another member of the honeysuckle family that bears honeyberries, a nice fruit, and people grow it for food. The only toxicity that comes from Japanese honeysuckle is, what is that word? It's a soapy-like compound. Oh, it's escaping me. But anyway, it could upset the stomach, cause vomiting in very large doses. Boy, that's right on the tip of my tongue. It's the same substance we find in yucca root. You can use it to poison fish. It clogs up their gills and they float to the top, just temporarily kind of stuns them. Saponins. It contains saponins. Not really toxic at all, but whoever got in touch was like so convinced that honeysuckle was poisonous, they demanded I take down the video, and I'm like, I think you're really overblowing this, but for caution's sake, I'll redo it and um, emphasize the potential toxicity that I really don't even think's an issue, but I probably just should have let it go, honestly. I mean, since I was a kid, I'd pick honeysuckle blossoms, suck the nectar out. Plenty of people make a syrup out of honeysuckle. Cassie Clark, I interviewed her a few months ago. She does the Where the Dogwood Blooms podcast. She makes honeysuckle syrup every year, and her family loves it. They eat it just like honey. It's made from the blossoms of honeysuckle, the very blossoms he was saying would kill somebody if they ate them, which is whatever. In the mountains, people often flavor moonshine with honeysuckle blossoms. Honeysuckle moonshine is like really sought after. But okay, if there's some, according to his state's plant website, there's some potential toxicity with honeysuckle, especially Japanese honeysuckle. Oddly enough, I've consumed it since I was 5 years old, and I'm still around to talk about it, but hey, whatever. There are 23 varieties of honeysuckle that have documented use in herbal medicine. I am not going to try to pronounce them all. All these Latin names, 23 of them. They're either going to be Lonicera or Diervia. The only shrub form of honeysuckle that's native to my area is Lonicera canadensis. It's American fly honeysuckle. But many have been naturalized. We've got several, again, no sense in naming them all. And you'll likely see Japanese honeysuckle everywhere. It's also considered an invasive weed. It's the one you most often see. Lonicera japonica. Dioscorides wrote of a variety of Lonicera under the name Proclimenon. He said Proclimenon is a little shrub with whitish leaves. Well, we don't need to get into the description. I always forget that. Let's see what he used it for. The seed of it is gathered when it is ripe and dried in the shade. A teaspoon taken in a drink for 40 days reduces swellings of the spleen, dissolves weariness, and is good for difficult breathing and hiccups. If you've had hiccups for 40 days, you could be in bad shape. I don't know if I'm going to use a 40-day cure for hiccups, but anyway, after the 6th day, it makes one urinate blood. Now that is a potential toxicity there, and that likely would have been due to saponins, but he's talking drinking a large dose on a daily basis. He said it would also induce labor, probably a very unwise and dangerous use. Decoction taken as a drink for 37 days is said to make men unfit for generation or sterile. Wow. So this Proclimenon is quite different from the ones that grow around here. But anyway, he said it was also useful though. It rubbed on with oil, it would reduce a fever and driveth away the shivering. So yeah, good externally. Miss Grieve wrote of Caprifoliaceae, the whole family of honeysuckles, which includes 300 species, chiefly shrubs growing in the northern temperate zone, extending into the higher cool tropics. Wow, yeah. And I think, she mentions viburnum and sambucus or not elder. Is that elder? Yeah, viburnum and Anyway, yes, viburnum and elder are also members of the family. Anyway, medicinal actions and uses. A dozen or more of the 100 species of Lonicera or honeysuckle are used medicinally. The fruits generally having amidocathartic properties, in other words, make you throw up and have diarrhea if you ate the fruits. Several of these drugs have more than a local repute, and sometimes if you've eaten something bad, you do need to throw up and have diarrhea. So, of Italian honeysuckle, she said it was used as cutaneous and mucus tonic. That means for the skin and the mucus tissue, and as a vulnerary. The seeds as a diuretic, so wound healing and diuretic of the seeds. Common English honeysuckle used similarly. similarly, and the stems used as a substitute for bittersweet. An older herbal said the leaves and flower of honeysuckle are possessed of diuretic and sudorific properties, and adds a decoction of the flowers has been celebrated as an excellent antispasmodic and recommended in asthma of the nervous kind. An elegant water may be distilled from these flowers, which has been recommended for nervous headache. Interesting, very interesting. She mentions that caprifolium means goat's leaf, and a lot of people that raise goats would grow honeysuckle because they like to eat it. She says our native honeysuckle has expectorant and laxative properties. The flowers form a syrup that has been used for diseases of the respiratory organs and asthma. The leaves is a decoction in diseases of the liver and spleen, and was also considered a good ingredient in gargles, as Gerard said. Let's see. There's a Siberian honeysuckle she mentioned was bitter and would be purgative, so good laxative and a bitter. Another Russian one and a Chinese one she mentions. A Japanese one was used as a drastic purgative, so it would really clean you out. Deervella, the bush honeysuckle, has a similar repute, especially as a diuretic and as an application to relieve itching. Interesting stuff. And it's a big family, and just to say honeysuckle's poisonous, yeah, some are, like I said, honeyberries are actually grown for food, so I'm not sure where this guy was coming from, but hey, I appreciate caution. I'm certainly not infallible. If someone thinks I need to correct something or make something more clear, I'm always open to that advice. Brother Aloysius said the leaves of the plants are used medicinally. The infusion is diuretic, used externally as a gargle for inflamed tonsils and for sore legs. The infusion greatly stimulates appetite. On application of the bruised herb, the skin complaints are cured. The decoction of flowers is very beneficial for lung catarrh or congestion. Now, plants for future lists some very interesting ones. Fly honeysuckle. It says the steep branches are a very effective diuretic. A decoction of the shoots is used in treatment of cankers caused by syphilis. They use that English spelling of cankers, chancres or something. The bark is sedative, and infusion has been given to children who cry at night. Fly honeysuckle. Interesting. Lonicera moroi, the fruit is cathartic and emetic. Japanese honeysuckle. Now, this is the one that the fellow took such a offense to. Let me read to you what Plants for Future says. The stems and flower buds are alterative, that means gradually brings one back to health, antibacterial and anti-inflammatory, antispasmodic, depurative, diuretic, and febrifuge. Febrifuge means lowers fever. The plant is also used to reduce blood pressure. The stems are used internally in the treatment of acute rheumatoid arthritis, mumps, and hepatitis. The stems are harvested in the autumn and winter and dried for later use. The stems and flowers are used together as an infusion for the treatment of upper respiratory tract infections, including pneumonia and dysentery. An infusion of the flower buds is used in the treatment of a wide range of ailments, including syphilitic skin diseases and tumors, bacterial dysentery, colds, enteritis, pain, swellings, etc. Experimentally, the flower extracts have been shown to lower blood cholesterol levels and are antibacterial, antiviral, and tuberculostatic, means it helps prevent or kill off tuberculosis. Externally, the flowers are applied as a wash to skin inflammations, infections, rashes, and sores. The flowers are harvested in the early morning before they open or dried for later use. The plant has a similar action to forsythia as is usually used in combination with that species to achieve a stronger action. Actually, what that means, Japanese honeysuckle and forsythia combined are a potent antiviral. The plant has become a serious weed in many areas of North America. It might have the potential to be utilized for proven medicinal purposes. And it goes on to say that while it does contain saponins, those compounds are not readily absorbed by the human liver as they are in some cattle and such, and is generally considered safe. So I'm not sure why, I don't remember if it was maybe the Missouri Department of Agriculture or something had it listed as poisonous, and the dude just started freaking out because literally just stated that. You can't eat honeysuckle. You can't use honeysuckle medicinally. It'll kill you. You'll die. You're being irresponsible. Actually, no. I'm giving you information to make an informed choice. But again, I appreciate where he's coming from, and I listened to and even took down the video. I'll do another one with more information of saying, while some sources say this plant is poisonous, I think it's fairly safe, but you'll have to make your own decision. Anyway, another one is known as woodbine or Lonicera sempervivens. And resources of the southern fields and forests said that the plant is not much used in medicine. This was 1860s. But the syrup of the leaves is given in asthma and in tonsillitis. The leaves and bark are styptic, means it helps stop bleeding. Flowers diuretic. The later in decoction calm the pain of colic following childbirth. The Peterson Field Guide to Eastern and Central Medicinal Plant states, again of Japanese honeysuckle, the leaves and flowers are used as a beverage tea in Japan. AT. You know, the Japanese drink AT of it, and they don't keel over dead, as this person's state website warned. Flowers traditionally used for tea in bacterial dysentery, enteritis, laryngitis, fevers, flu. Externally as a wash for rheumatism, sores, and tumors, especially breast cancer. Infected boils, scabies, and swelling. Stem tea is weaker. Experimentally, flower extracts lower cholesterol. Also an antiviral, antibacterial, and tuberculostatic. This serious weed might be managed by utilizing it for proven medicinal purposes. And there you have it. Maybe I should have just said, hey, go read my book. But I tend not to be rude. I'm Southern. We're polite. What can you do? That's just part of our culture. All right, y'all. To wrap it up here, go fix yourself a good curry, eat some sweet corn, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and don't freak out over little things. When one source says that an herb you know to be fairly safe has potential toxicity, go check 4 or 5 other sources before you freak out. Yeah, I told you many times about the lady that got in touch, frantic, because her granddaughter had eaten a wild strawberry. What's going to happen? Is it poison? Is it poison? I'm like, ma'am, it's a strawberry. Is she allergic to strawberries? No. Then I wouldn't worry about it. It's a strawberry. Just because one's grown in a garden and one grows in the wild, it doesn't mean it's not still a strawberry. I told you about the guy that was just sweating in weather like this, ripping out wild grapevines. And I commented, shame they take over. They're so delicious. He's like, you can't eat those. And I'm like, why? They're poisonous. No, they're grapes. They're grapes. A wild grape is still a grape. A grape by any other name would taste as sweet. To bastardize Shakespeare, I guess. Anyway, y'all, have a good one, and I'll talk to you next time.
The information in this podcast is not intended to diagnose or treat any disease or condition. Nothing I say or write has been evaluated or approved by the FDA. I'm not a doctor. The U.S. government does not recognize the practice of herbal medicine, and there is no governing body regulating herbalists. Therefore, I'm really just a guy who studies herbs. I'm not offering any advice. I won't even claim that anything I write or say is accurate or true. I can tell you what herbs have been traditionally used for. I can tell you my own experience and if I believe an herb has helped me. I cannot nor would I tell you to do the same. If you use an herb anyone recommends, you are treating yourself. You take full responsibility for your health. Humans are individuals and no two are identical. What works for me may not work for you. You may have an allergy, a sensitivity, an underlying condition that no one else even shares and you don't even know about. Be careful with your health. By continuing to listen to my podcast or read my blog, you agree to be responsible for yourself, do your own research, make your own choices, and not to blame me for anything ever.